What's up, you guys? James Strickland here. Welcome to week 16 on my road to 700 pounds on bench press. This week is a deload week, which is scheduled regardless of how I feel, typically every fourth week. And then, of course, anytime I need to take an injury deload or right before a meet. So this is my last warm-up. This is done on Monday, and this is 4-5 here. Couple of reps here. Didn't feel too hot. Of course, that's kind of to be expected. I'll show you guys what I listened to here. I'm just not really in the zone on deload weeks. It's really hard to get mentally focused. You really should. I mean, that's the goal. But let's face it, I mean, this is like 75–80% of the weight that I had on the bar last week. So I really don't feel subconsciously like I need to bring it. But just to stay safe, I mean, we are still dealing with 455 pounds here. You got to bring it. The weight felt extremely heavy today, a lot heavier than it should. That just goes to show that I needed a deload. So I've got 3 sets of 3 here. I tell you, in my mind, that felt extremely slow, and when I saw it on video, it made me feel a lot better because it doesn't look too bad at all. I think it looks fine the way it needs to move, but in my head, it definitely moved a lot slower. I felt literally like it was moving like molasses. I also woke up this morning and just didn't feel too hot. I don't know if I was coming down with something or if it was just the weather or what. But I had to work out, and here I am getting it in. Second set. And so I actually only got 2 sets on video. I apologize for that. And I guess I had to reset my, that's what happened. I had to reset my GoPro, and it didn't get that last set. But moving on to weighted dips here. I'm sorry, body weight dips. This is 2 sets of 6. Real easy. I wasn't unhappy with these at all. Obviously, there's no weight here, but because of the way I was kind of feeling on the bench sets, I didn't know what to expect throughout the whole workout. But like I said, I had to reset the GoPro and totally disregarded the fact that it changed the aspect ratio of the video, so I apologize for the black lines. But any guys that are following me on my road to 700 pounds probably don't care too much as long as you can see what I'm doing. If you have a problem with the aspect ratio, then you can take a flying leap. Anyways, so moving on to some neutral grip lat pull downs with a 2-second contraction at the bottom. 90 pounds on the first set. Actually, I'm sorry, 90 pounds on all of them, and it's 3 sets of 12. Obviously, 90 pounds is not very much on this, but I did feel every single rep. Like I said, I wasn't feeling too hot. This particular, the first couple days of the deload just didn't really go off too well for me, anyways. Physically, there wasn't anything outside the gym stress or anything like that. I think I just maybe didn't get sleep so good, even though I got a solid 8 hours a night, which is what I typically get. Sometimes the quality of sleep can affect your workouts as well. May have gotten hold of something bad to eat. Who knows? There's a lot of factors into that. But like I said, had some job to do today, and so I got in here and got it done. I don't advocate if you're like absolutely sick, you're running a fever or you're coughing up a lung, and you literally should be at home underneath a blanket or with or you should be at the doctor. I'm not one of those types that go in to work out, but luckily I don't get sick very often. I'm definitely not sick this week, but there's been a couple times where I just don't even go into workout, and I'll just either skip a day, or I'll just, if it's a deload, I may just skip that particular day and come back another couple days and get my workout in, or consolidate it later on the week just to get some reps in. But I didn't get where I'm at pushing so far past my limits that I hurt myself. And being sick is definitely not a good situation to be in and try to work through, especially when you're building strength. It's one thing if you're a few weeks out from a show and bodybuilding and you really got to do some stuff, but let your body rest, let it recover. This is active recovery. The whole point of a deload is just that. You can see these are my dumbbell pause floor flies. This is just 40 pounds, 2 sets of 15. You can see my face on 40 pounds. That's, last week was 60. This is a little bit of a strain. My pecs are tight. Back is just sore. But that's what 3 weeks of working with darn near 600 pounds for some triples will do. It builds up fatigue. And instead of just sitting at home on the couch eating bonbons this week, I'm in the gym getting some blood flow. I'm actually doing this recap almost a week later, just due to the holidays and things like that. And I can tell you this deload did not affect in a negative way the next week's workout. But I won't let the cat out of the bag just yet until you guys tune in for week 17. But moving on to the next set here, a little bit loose from the first set, but you can see I'm obviously making some faces there, and this is definitely not painful, but it's not comfortable, that's for sure. But this is just working the kinks out, and I know my limits. This is not a week that I would want to go and do 75-pound dumbbell flies. Even if I could accomplish it, it's not going to accomplish anything towards my goal. And as you know, that is the road to 700 pounds does not end at a 75-pound dumbbell fly or a 455 deload bench or even a 600 for a triple. It ends at 700 pounds. So the goal, with that goal in mind, every single thing I do is going to be aimed at that. And that is the difference between where I'm at now and where I was at, say, 3 or 4 years ago or even 10 years ago. Ego lifting will only get you so far. So I stress to a lot of kids and a lot of adults alike. Check your ego at the door. Work on a common goal that you can, get behind or actually work towards and get it. And so moving on, the last set of day one is a tricep push-down rope. This is actually pretty easy. This is 110 pounds, 3 sets of 12. I was feeling a little bit better that the workout was almost done. Triceps really didn't feel too much fatigue today. Of course, this really isn't a lot of weight for me, but just getting those muscles moving felt a lot better. Was definitely ready to get a good meal in me and just rest for a couple days. Actually, on this particular deload week, I did skip legs altogether. Oh, yeah, he said it. But legs is not my focus right now, and it's not going to bother me to skip out on legs. I had some other things I need to take care of outside the gym. Of course, I wanted to conserve my energy for the bench days, and of course for the following week, going super heavy, trying to finish out this road to 700 pounds. But legs are one of those things where I can take a week off or even not go super heavy for a while and come back and put some serious weight and actually hit PRs because I'm just keeping them in a maintenance mode. Once again, showing you guys those sleeves are super light and not tight, so they don't help with the lifts at all. So welcome to day 2 here, starting with my rear delt pec. Rear delts, and this is 110 pounds. It's supposed to be 2 sets of 15. I was feeling a little bit better this particular day. I went ahead and just did a set of 30. This is basically my warm-up set. This is pretty much my warm-up weight on a heavy week anyways, so no worries on this. I wouldn't advocate jumping straight to your working set on a typical heavy day or a weight that you can't handle for more than the set calls for. But I was in and out of the gym today in probably 45 minutes, which is nice. Part of a deload is not just taking off easy from the weights, but just kind of enjoying life, outside the gym a little bit. Moving on, these are the Sir Charles lateral raises, 5-second negative, 15 pounds here, same weight as last week. This is 2 sets of 10. These didn't feel too bad at all. My shoulders are definitely pretty bulletproof. I do feel the tightness, kind of fatigue build up in the second set here, but that's mostly due to the fact that I'm still shedding 3 weeks worth of fatigue from the last deload until now. all that work builds up, and something's got to give, which is the primary reason I advocate a deload, and one that it's programmed into my programming. This is an active recovery. Like I said before, without the deload, you would not see me progressing as rapidly and as consistently as I have over the last year, couple years, 2 years, more. And deloads are an integral part of my training. I can't stress that enough. I actually program it into just about every one of my clients, unless there's some special reason that they don't need a deload, but it's still technically going to be in all the programming one way or another. Either it's they take 2 days off and 3 days off, 2 days on, 3 days off, and then just work consistently, or they take every 4th or 5th and maybe 6th week, backing it down. Moving on to some fairly easy dumbbell presses. These are 80 pounders here, and this is 2 sets of 15. No big deal. I actually did one quick set of 50s before this just to get the pecs warmed up with about 5 reps. This was a good blood flow set for me. Let's just get a little more volume in the chest, pecs. Dumbbells are also really good for me because I do close grip quite a bit. Obviously, I don't hit the pecs as much as a wide grip bencher. I do hit them obviously with close grip, but dumbbells will really isolate those. And so moving on to the the straight arm, fully extended dumbbell pullovers, 45 pounds here, 2 sets of 15. These feel really good, especially on a deload week. Stretching everything out, getting those pecs, pec fibers stretched out just from all the tightness. Great recovery set here. So, like I said, in earlier videos, and if you guys are just now joining me on my road to 700 pounds, I am a huge advocate for rest and recovery. Typically on a given night, I get anywhere no less than 7 hours of sleep. Typically it's 8 hours or more. Weekends I typically get a little bit more. I do have 3 kids and a wife, so you guys that want to throw the excuse out there that kids waking up early, things like that, I have the same issues. Of course, I have a 12-year-old, 9-year-old, 3-year-old. Typically the 3-year-old will sleep a little bit later than the other 2, but they're old enough that they know the rules. Keep quiet while mom and dad are trying to sleep, and that's just the rules of the house. They can entertain themselves, but I definitely make time to sleep. I stay up typically sometimes up to midnight on a typical night, getting work done, hanging out with the family, the wife, and we get some sleep in there. Typically I'll wake up, take care of early morning stuff with the kids for school. I do work from home. I do own a business. I do website design, have done for almost 20 years now, and that does allow me a schedule. So I did consciously make the choice some 16, or actually about 16 years ago, to start my own business so that I could make my own schedule. So I don't regret that for 1 second. Moving on, last couple things here. I've got the dumbbell paused tricep extensions, pausing about 1 inch above the floor. Keep a constant tension on the triceps, 35 pounds here with 3 sets of 15. These felt pretty good. Like I said earlier, the tries don't really build up a lot of fatigue, even though I hit those tries pretty much constantly. I'm used to swimming. For half my life I swam, so my triceps will handle 5,000, 10,000 strokes in the pool on a typical day. Throwing around 35-pound dumbbells, even benching 500 for some reps, it really isn't that big deal for those triceps. That's the reason they hold up they're the staple in my bench press, being close grip. So I hit them as many times as I can, just like back. But like I said, earlier, to touch on that again, I'm not saying that everybody out there is making excuses, but if you want to make time to sleep or to work out or to eat or to have time with your family, you got to push the issue. Now, obviously, one of the staples in anybody's life is paying bills, so you got to have a way to make some money. and typically that's the most important thing, in your day, at least for your hours. So if you're spending 8 hours at the job, you may not be able to spend 4 hours in the gym and then 4 or 5 hours with family. You end up running out of time and then trying to get sleep at night. So something's got to give. You've got to make something a priority over something else. Now, in my life, it's family first, regardless. In fact, it's family over business. Family, then I've got my business, because that supports us. I've got my workouts, and that's pretty much it. I don't have time for anything else. And that's okay, because I don't want time for anything else. I put all my priorities in that. Everything else is sleep time, and that's good for me because that's rest and recovery. All right, so moving on, the last thing of the day is throat pulls with a basically seated row. And this is 80 pounds, pretty simple, easy. This is 2 sets of 12, and that will end it for the deload week. Next week, we have 600 for a triple. That will be a personal record for me, and I will see you guys then. I appreciate you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram @SwimHack. See ya.